Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Fantom, see what's going on there. Of course, get a lot of requests for this, obviously, based on the simple fact that, well, we have an open swing trade as a community, and, well, it's also a pretty awesome coin. So if you're not already currently in, it's never too late, because I do think that Fantom is going places. Now, before we get started, not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade. This is my day job. I do this every day for a living, and I can assure you that it's a proficiency of mine. I've been trading for over 15 years, so my goal is to help you become a better trader, right? So hopefully you can learn a thing or two here today. And if you want more of a hands-on experience, we got a trading community. Check that out in your own time, of course. But I will roll out with we actually have a website platform with a community dashboard, and more importantly, a membership section where we actually have a trading academy that I'm rolling out with too. That'll be available next month, essentially. So, anyways, just a heads up on that. Really excited to get that to you. So looking at Fantom here, one-day chart, kind of just speak to the obvious. We've got the all-time high and the one-day close high. The price has come up to that twice and hasn't gotten filled. We actually have a profit target 316. It's at like 3.159 two times. I wouldn't say in a row, but in a 2-week period, we've seen that happen twice. It wants to break that level, but it is having trouble doing so. Partially because Bitcoin is misbehaving a little bit, but also just because it's been on the overextended side and needs to consolidate, get more volume at that level. In fact, speaking of volume, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the amount of volume. So what this is, why don't we just go ahead and look at from November through till now. How much volume do we have and where? We have a pretty firm volume base at $2.20. So that's really good to know because that's obviously where the price action came down and bounced. So Fibonacci retracement at 215 is pretty much a strong support level. I covered this in my top 5 video recently as well, and I kind of addressed that anything under $2 would be a problem because we'd lose that key level support. And that's the main reason why we have a lot of volume built up there. We've also got the 50-day SMA working its way up too. So heaven forbid, bottom were to drop out from Fantom again, we could see somewhere in the range of 215. And when I say bottom drop out, I'm talking about Bitcoin lose its bottom and starts trending closer to 37.5, which is the next major Fibonacci retracement level. Now, I cover Bitcoin in a separate video altogether. Normally, I like to look at Bitcoin first, but I can tell you right now it's kind of just trending right around, 43,000, right in that range, that channel. And unless they can break 44/46,000 in the near future, we don't have any bullish sentiment from Bitcoin. Okay. Now, how that factors into Fantom is just a simple fact that when Bitcoin sells off, Fantom does too, within reason. Okay. Now, it doesn't sell off completely by any means. I don't think we're going to see a price lower than 215 again. But once more, if the price were to retrace from Bitcoin, just know that we lose the support of 273 and possibly even 240. That's a possibility. So those are good dollar cost average targets, right? I get this question a lot as well. Where should I dollar cost average if the price comes down? Well, I think building a base around 272 and 240 is a good starting point. So that would be a good consideration there for you. But just note there's a lot of resistance up here between 315 or basically 316 and 350. Okay, that is the resistance channel. So we just got to be mindful of that and note that it's going to take a little while for it to break that plane. Once it does, it needs to consolidate even further, and then we'll see what happens and reevaluate at that time. Okay, but we're looking very awesome on the macro, right? We're up over 50 on the RSI. We are essentially, post MACD convergence on the 1 day. We got a lot of good stuff going for us here, so it's not a problem at all. The price is kind of hanging out and not moving anywhere because in a lot of ways, it's just kind of building that foundation, that volume profile before it increases. And you can see there is a decent amount of volume accumulating. It's not the most, but it is definitely a solid base considering it's only been here for a short while. Okay, so again, all good stuff there. I love what I see here so far for Fantom. The macro looks awesome. Looking at the midterm, so to speak, we're looking at price above both moving averages. Awesome news there as well. We've also got, RSI is still up over 50. This is extremely important. We could see the price, or the 50 get tested here soon. On the RSI. What that basically just means is, the fact that the price is consolidating sideways, it's losing that strength, so to speak, because that's a relative strength index. And what it just means is that if we do end up losing 50 on the RSI, it would be considered bearish on the midterm. So we could see a progression down to about 240 if we were to lose that. Because this support at 273, while it's held very well in the past, we could lose that. But also bear in mind, we got the 50-day SMA right there at that point. So once more, if we do lose support of 50 on the RSI, we could see the level here at about 273 get tested. We lose that. We got the 50 as a backup and 240 as a secondary there. Plus the 200 is working its way up as well. We've got a lot of positive things going on here. So I'm really not concerned about the price being close to 50. We should effectively see a bounce and the price continue upwards from here. Okay. Again, pending Bitcoin doesn't do anything stupid, which I have to say in pretty much every video now, and then we'll be just fine for Fantom. All right, so taking a look here at Ichimoku Cloud, we're probably within the cloud, yep, and or below. So really no major consideration for a buy signal in the micro, because again, the likelihood of the price coming down versus up is fairly high. I do think we will get to see the 50-day SMA tested in the near future, whether or not it comes up naturally with the price or the price comes down to meet it. One of those two things will happen. So, 270, 273 range, I think is more likely than the price continuing upwards from here. But again, it's building a foundation. It's building a lot of volume right now that could positively work, to the upside versus the downside, right? So again, kind of compiling all the information we have so far. Big picture looking great. Midterm also looking great. Micro or smaller term time frame here on the 1 hour, not phenomenal, right? We could expect to see a turnaround. Will it be significant? Probably not. I think 270 is probably the lowest it'll go, but that's just a general idea here. So, could we see a 20-cent dip before the next increase? Yeah, that could happen. Or we could just see the price continue to consolidate and break to the upside. There's a few different schools of thought, but the key takeaway here is the macro and the midterm look very good. And that to me is important. I don't care too much about the 1 hour chart in a sense, because this isn't really signaling a turnaround. This is just telling us there's a state of indecision in a lot of ways, and that's not a problem at all, okay? So Fantom to me is a pretty awesome situation. So why don't we go and take a look at, I would say better case scenario if the price were to continue to progress upwards. And keep in mind, since December 21st, we've seen this kind of progression, right? So we've seen roughly an increase from bottom to top about 137% in 3 weeks, okay? So just say hypothetically that we were to see that same continuation be about a 62% increase, we could see the price trend somewhere between 440 and 515 as a rough estimate. So I would say best case scenario, in 3 weeks we'll see that. I don't think that's very likely though. I think we're going to take a little bit longer to break this resistance plane, this channel. And once we break above, we need to be able to consolidate above and effectively build another base, right? And then continue upwards. So if we want Fantom to be here for the long haul, we want it to continue to progress the way that it has. And it's progressed very naturally and very nicely. Higher highs, higher lows on most every situation, okay? We had a decent sell-off here for a couple of days, but that makes perfect sense. They had to take their profits, and now we're back on track, okay? So all good stuff here. Really, there's literally no downside except for the fact that you probably don't want to try to open a day trade right now because the likelihood of it breaking 316 in the immediate future is pretty low. I think we're going to probably see another week or two before it hits that point. In other words, it's probably going to consolidate closer to 270, 273, and then build a foundation to increase with a new higher low and then break it with a higher high. Okay, so again, all good stuff here for Fantom. I really like it, and I think that you're in good shape. Heaven forbid we were to see the price decrease, right? Just to reiterate, and Bitcoin sells off. Dollar cost average location, I'd say 240 is probably a strong DCA, as well as 215. The likelihood of Fantom coming much lower than that, I feel, is very low, considering how much volume we have built around $2 and $2.15, right in that range. Okay, so again, all good stuff here. Again, I would just recommend waiting a little bit longer to see if the price dips a little further. It's just kind of telling us that it wants to do that. But big picture, we are preparing for a nice break of an all-time high, and once we get there, it's going to be exciting stuff. So I hope you have learned something here today. If so, comment below. If not, that's okay too. Consider joining my community, and we'll look forward to getting to know you better and working with you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.